What's up, everybody? Welcome to Most Foul TV. I'm your host, Don T. Pena, and this is Most Foul Chief. Once again, guys, been delayed for a couple of weeks. I had to work overtime, couldn't get the episodes out from Most Foul Chief headquarters. So we're going to do another third and short for you guys. Obviously, got to talk about the breaking news that happened yesterday. Le'Veon Bell signing to the Kansas City Chiefs and all the stuff that means. And I was trying to wait till maybe tomorrow to put out a full episode inside HQ because I wanted to do a full episode and and go over everything that's been happening since the last time I spoke to you guys. Obviously, a lot has happened. Patrick Mahomes and Brittany are pregnant. I don't know. I think we talked about that. We might have touched on that the last one. If we didn't, I'll mention it again. But since then they're expecting a kid. Congratulations to them. We had obviously we had that damn Raider game. I was hoping to try to get an episode out before that shitty game during Raiders week and do a pregame. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that. So we'll talk about that bullshit game a little bit. And how the Raiders fan base are celebrating their Super Bowl win. Congratulations! You won a meaningless regular season game. All you got to do now is win 13 more just to tie it in the overall record to even fucking catch up to us when it comes to head-to-head. Okay, understand that the Chiefs head-to-head all time are ahead of the Raiders by 13 goddamn games. Like, you would have to win. What, 5-6 years in a row? Literally, you'd have to sweep the fucking Chiefs for 6 years straight just to catch up to tie that record to even make it fucking, anything. So, until that fucking happens, you can all kiss my ass. I can care less about your little meaningless win. You're bound to win one of them out of every 11 or 12 that we give you. So, but we'll get into that. I will touch on that game. We'll talk about that. But my focus of what this video is going to be is the bullshit that I'm hearing, of the narrative that people are trying to spin about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and because of the Le'Veon Bell signing and all this bullshit. So that's what we do the core. But before we get to that, let's talk about that fucking goddamn Raider game and that bullshit ass fucking loss that the Chiefs handed the win, handed the victory over to the Raiders. And let's fucking be real, okay? Now, I will say that congratulations to the Raiders. You won the game, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? But make no fucking mistake. Before you all start patting yourselves on the back and start, buying your ticket to Tampa Bay for the Super Bowl appearance, let's fucking be clear, all right? The Chiefs just decided to not play that fucking game, okay? It wasn't... I'm sorry, I keep hearing, that was another thing I kept hearing all fucking week. What the Raiders did to slow the Chiefs down and blah, blah, blah. Again, nothing, okay? The smarter analysts had said at the beginning of the season, you know who's going to stop the Chiefs? The goddamn Chiefs, okay? That's the reality. Because when the Chiefs actually decide to play, and all you need evidence for that is go look at the fucking Ravens game, okay? Everybody still today talks about that the Ravens are one of the top teams in the NFL, even with the loss to the Chiefs, right? They're still one of the best, still one of the toughest teams to prepare for, still a Super Bowl favorite until you meet the Chiefs, right? They're still one of the teams in the top. And the Chiefs, going into that game, understood what the Ravens were, understood the threat that they pose, and they decided, we're not fucking around in this game. We need to take these guys out early and fast and show them that we are the best. And they absolutely dominated the Ravens. And it wasn't even close. That's what the Chiefs do when they decide to take it fucking seriously. What happened in the Raider game? They decided not to. That's plain and fucking simple. If anybody thinks otherwise, you're fucking fooling yourself. I'm sorry. Even to the Raider fans. And I know y'all gonna cry. Clore, give us some credit, blah, blah, blah. I didn't give you credit. You won the game. Here's the credit. The Chiefs walked into that game and decided we whipped the shit out of the Raiders. 12 out of the last 11 or whatever the record is. Derek Carr did not have a win in Arrowhead since Andy Reid has been there, so that's 7 years straight. Has not had a win in Arrowhead. The Chiefs own the Raiders. That's just what it is. And we went in, and that team went in, and we're like, we're going to whip the shit out of them again. Last season, it only took a quarter to beat the shit out of them, right? And so I think they didn't put in their best effort. They all kind of went in there lackadaisical. They were lazy tackling. They were dropping wide open passes. They weren't focused. And to the Raiders' credit, they were. They went in there, and here's the credit that I will give the Raiders for that game. They went in for the first time in many, many years. They went in with the attitude to win the game, let's not try to lose it, right? Which has always usually been the case when they play the Chiefs. Let's try not to lose was how their mentality, and they'd always lose because they get crushed. They didn't go in with let's not try to lose. They went in, let's go win this game. And that's the attitude to have. That's the attitude that any kind of winning team should have going forward. And the Chiefs went in just fucking, we don't give a shit. We really don't care about this team. They're not a threat. We're not going to see them in the playoffs. We could give a good god fuck about you. And they lost. It cost them. So, should the Chiefs have absolutely destroyed the Raiders? Of course. It shouldn't have even been a contest. Because you cannot tell me that you think the Raiders are a better team than the Ravens, than the Patriots, than, you can make an argument that they're better than the fucking Texans, you know? It just depends on what Texans team decide to show up. The last week's game, when the Texans got their first victory, and you kind of saw under Romeo Cornell, the new interim head coach, what the Texans can do now that Bill O'Brien's fucking gone and that fucking debacle is over with. Like, now they're starting to show some life. So, you know, but again, you can make the argument, are the Raiders a better team than the Texans? I mean, by record they are, maybe, I think, right? Yeah, because, you got a couple more wins than the Texans. They just have their first victory. But, again, we'll know at the mid-season point if the Texans start to string up a couple of wins and the Raiders are who the Raiders are. I mean, you guys are only one game over 500. That's not, you know, let's fucking calm down there. So going back to my point is, you cannot tell me that anybody really truly believes that the Raiders are a better team than the Ravens or the Patriots, you know, arguably the Texans. I'm not even talking about the Chargers because the Chargers are the Chargers. But, and those are the teams we beat, right? We got the Bills coming up. We got Tampa Bay down the road, right? The other threats to the Chiefs. The fact of the matter is, a division game and a division rival is always a hard game, no matter what, especially in the AFC West. No matter how shitty the records are for those teams, they still always play the Chiefs hard. And even though we totally fucking crush them almost every season, and I forget it, I think last year, the last 2 years, we swept the division 2 years in a row, or forget what it is. They're still a threat, you know, like they still can pose a threat in a game, and the Chiefs just fucking kind of like, whatever, fuck you guys, like we don't care. We got bigger things to worry about. And it cost them the game. I mean, make no mistake, that's exactly what happened. You know, maybe it's a good thing, fucking kick the Chiefs in the ass to stop fucking, like, taking their foot off the gas with any team. I don't care if it's the Jets. You know, let's fucking crush them. Let's put up 30, 40 points early, and then you can coast the rest of the game. Like, you know, it's just stop with the vanilla fucking game call, like, plan. Like, that's really what it's been. But still, it's no excuse. And again, I mean, at the end of the day, you guys barely won by a fucking touchdown. Mahomes started to come on late, but they were still dropping passes. They were dropping wide open passes. People were like, oh, Mahomes having problems with the zone scheme, blah, bullshit. Okay, because he kept beating it. The problem was people kept dropping the fucking ball. Like, you know, if I was at HQ, I would throw up on the screen about 3 or 4 different plays where Mahomes threw wide open fucking passes to his receivers, and they just dropped them because they weren't focused. They catch those balls, it's a whole different game. We're talking about another Chiefs victory, another crushing victory, you know, over the Raiders, and nobody gives a fuck, and nobody's talking about, oh yeah, the Raiders were able to do this, and that. Like, bullshit, okay? So again, what I do give the Raiders credit is they didn't lose focus. They kept trying to win the game, and they did. So good, you know, congratulations, y'all didn't fucking fold for once. and fucking car wreck after throwing his first pick, didn't fucking fold and crumble like he usually does. But y'all got the Patriots coming up. Is it Patriots or Tampa Bay? I think it's Tampa Bay, right? You got Tampa Bay coming in, and I think you're gonna lose that game. There's gonna be another game behind us. We're gonna crush the Bills, and we're just gonna make that gap even further away from everybody in the AFC West. So that's all I'm gonna say about that bullshit. Clore, all of a sudden after that game, all of a sudden pops out of his little gopher hole and decide, I can do the podcast now. Yeah, I'm sure, right? And I was willing to do it. I told him let's do it Sunday because, again, with my schedule, I don't have a lot of time during the week. And I would have had him on. We would have did a post game. I would have heard all the shit talking. I would have countered with all the reality that we are still the champs. We are still number one in the AFC West. Still Super Bowl bound. And going to probably be number one in the AFC. Take that number one seed. But I was going to do it, but schedule-wise, he couldn't do it. Wanted to do it Monday, Tuesday, unfortunately. I can't do it. It's hard, it's hard during the week to do anything. So it is what it is. So moving on to the breaking news: Le'Veon Bell signing with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I posted this on Facebook and maybe on Twitter. I don't remember. I really should use Twitter more, right? I don't use it as much as I should. But here was my thoughts initially when I heard about him possibly signing with the Chiefs. Do we need him? Not really. Is it? We're winning without him. It's not like, oh my God, we need him. Obviously, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Clydesdale's a fucking badass. He's a stud, on pace to become Rookie of the Year. But would we take him? Fuck yeah, if it comes on the cheap. Could we use him? Absolutely. Is it another new shiny toy for Patrick Mahomes to play with? Fuck yeah. And so he did. He comes along on a 1 year deal to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sure it's a cheap contract. And the more I started to think about it, the more I started to analyze it, the more I liked it. I think it's a hell of a fucking move. It is very much a Belichick move where even if you didn't need the fucking player, fuck it. He's a dynamic player. Take his ass off the board so your rivals don't use him against you. There's that. That's the number one reason why I love it. And number two, it adds a compliment again. It puts the Chiefs back to what the original offensive scheme was supposed to be, which was Damian Williams, the original starter, mentoring and being a veteran, dynamic player, a legit number one running back, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that compliment, that rookie sensation, learning under him, pacing himself, getting really comfortable, to prepare to take over that spot. And then obviously Damian opts out, and Clyde's thrust into the number one role, which he's handled very nicely. But there no longer is that mentorship, that leader in the running back room that's dynamic, that's a starter, that's a Super Bowl, MVP candidate. That was awesome, because I know we have Darwin Thompson, I know we have Darrell Williams back there as well, but they're not the head and shoulders starters. They're not the dynamic player. They're not Damian Williams, right? So we lost that a bit. So there's a lot of reasons. Again, the more I analyzed it, the more I started to like the signing. I'm like, wow, this makes sense on so many levels. And so we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the football aspect of why it was such a good deal. It's such a sneaky move. The rich get richer. All of that shit. All those cliches people are saying right now. But here's one thing that I'm going to say that I don't really hear anybody else saying. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the season. I talked about it when we started talking about the dynasty of what the Chiefs are going to be, the building of a dynasty, and the fact that they are the new version of what the Patriots were because of Patrick Mahomes. I said this during during the off season. I had one of the videos, I forget which one it was, but I said it, that the fact is Patrick Mahomes, because of who he is, because of how great he is and the badass that he is and the Super Bowl champion that he is, was going to have the Tom Brady effect, meaning fucking players like Le'Veon Bell were going to want to come to the Kansas City Chiefs simply to play with Patrick Mahomes, to be able to play with a team that they know is Super Bowl bound, is the Super Bowl favorites, winning organization, all that stuff, and being able to play with the number one quarterback, the best player in the NFL. That's what Tom Brady had for so many years. It's why players, dynamic players like an Antonio Brown or Josh Gordon or Randy Moss were willing to sign one-year deals just to go to the Patriots, to go to try to win a ring and play with Tom Brady. This is now the Patrick Mahomes effect, right? You ask anybody, if Antonio Brown was cleared, and they were actually talking about this will be fun. Not that I want Antonio Brown, we don't need him, we don't need the hit. But if he was cleared tomorrow to play and starts throwing his name in the hat, the Kansas City Chiefs would definitely be there. And he's like, well, shit, Le'Veon's there now. It's Mahomes, it's Hill, it's Mecole Hardman and Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce and Clyde Edwards-Helaire with Andy Reid's offense and Eric Bieniemy. Damn, I could do some damage over there. I go win a ring. And I don't have to be relied upon to be the guy, so if I'm not producing, no one's going to criticize me, right? However, I don't think Antonio Brown would do it because he's too much of a diva. He wants to be the star. He wants to be the number one guy. And everybody knows that's Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs when it comes to the wide receivers. My point is with that, though, players like him, players with that caliber of talent, are looking at the Chiefs now and like, damn, that's Patrick Mahomes' team. Yeah, I can go make some money somewhere else, but if I go here, sign a cheap one-year deal, ball out, win a Super Bowl, I can cash that in next season to go to another team and make a shit ton of money, and I got my Super Bowl for my career, and I can just go and now I can cash in. Teams did that shit all the time with the Patriots, and we're seeing it now with Patrick Mahomes. And I think, that's what Le'Veon Bell did. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to go here, I'm going to sign a one-year deal, just like last year, the way Terrell Suggs did. Again, did all he could do in his career, right? Already was a Super Bowl champ, made a shit ton of money, and then he had his pick of the litter where he wanted to go, and he went to the Chiefs, went and got a one-year deal, got a little bit more money, and got another Super Bowl. I mean, it was a smart deal. And I think, now I forget what team he's with now, but probably got paid again because some team was like, shit, you helped the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, come help us. And if you know what team he is, comment it on the bottom there in the comments, let me know. While I'm on the subject, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Hit the bell notification so you know every time I post. All that stuff helps. I'm trying to get higher rankings on the whole YouTube bullshit. I got to start putting out more content for you guys, and I'm trying to do it weekly. I'm trying to get a handle on stuff. I'll get there, guys. I'll get there slow, but I get there. So again, the Patrick Mahomes effect, man, that's what Le'Veon's thinking. He's going to come to the Chiefs, and he's going to be a player, man. He's not going to be the starter. Now, let's get into the football aspect. That's great on Le'Veon's part. He's going to have a great season with the Chiefs. They're going to utilize him. He's going to bring up his stats. He's going to be on a winning team. He's going to win a Super Bowl for the first time in his career. Now he's going to cash that in next year with another team that's going to be running back desperate. And they're going to go and sign his ass to a big contract. He's going to be happy. He got his ring. His career's resurrected. And now he's making a shit ton of money somewhere else. Or he might he might fall in love with the program like so many players do, and the organization, and say, you know what, I'll take a shorter deal for less money, and let's fucking go get another one. A la Sammy Watkins, a la Travis Kelce. Who knows, right? For now, it's 1 year, so we'll go with that. Now, I want to get into what the bullshit narrative that I've been hearing over the last few days, really the last day and a half, I guess, and this fucking picture that people are trying to paint with the Chiefs and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like, like this, basically like he's not playing a rookie of the year caliber because he had that phenomenal first game, 136 yards or whatever it was, and 2-3 touchdowns or whatever, whatever he had, it was 2 touchdowns, right? And then he hasn't had that much of an output, that same output, in the last 3 games since. Now that's not fucking on Clyde. That's on the scheme. They've been kind of dicking around. Again, we blew out the fucking Ravens. He had a hell of a game. And they just, again, like, you cannot dismiss the fact. Like, it's not like the Cowboys or the Panthers where they rely on Ezekiel Elliott. They rely on Christian McCaffrey so they can get those numbers. Or like the Cleveland Browns, who are a running team, and I'll get into the Cleveland Browns in a second, where they're relying on the run game to really help their quarterback. We're not that fucking team. It's the reason why it's amazing how we're able to get Tyreek Hill and Kelsey to have 1,000-yard seasons with as many weapons as we have. The fact that they're able to get that many yards every season is insane. But the fact is, we have so many weapons. Mahomes spreads the ball around. He doesn't key on one player, so a la other teams. And, that's why you get that shit. When you have a marquee running back and that's kind of all you have, yeah, the guy's going to get stats. It's going to look good. It's like, because that's all you fucking can do. Like, it's really all the choice you have. Your 80, 90% offense runs through that player. Of course they're going to have stats. Our team's not like that. Our team has dynamic players all across the board, so it's going to be spread out. That's not to say that Clyde Edwards-Helaire still isn't a badass and still isn't on pace to become rookie. I still think he will be. He's going to have some big, huge games. Just wait. I mean, the Chiefs themselves, the offense, have been dicking around the last couple of games and kind of playing vanilla offense. How many screens have we seen? How many, backfield throws have we seen? How many passes to Clyde Edwards-Helaire have we seen? We've seen a handful, but not a lot, right? So we haven't seen where, we used to love to do with Jamal Charles and Kareem Hunt, where he'd line up next to the quarterback, run out like he's doing almost like a jet sweep, and then cuts it back to the middle of the field, and they hit him over the top right in front of the linebacker. We haven't seen that play. And I know it's in Reed's back pocket, but we haven't seen it with Clyde yet, right? So that's why I like this signing with Le'Veon Bell. Because what this does now is it now brings back the original plan that we had at the beginning of the season. Now you have a veteran presence who's a legitimate starter, who's been a starter, who's been a leading rusher in the NFL, and is what a lot of people say is the number one, the best pass catcher for a running back in NFL history in Le'Veon Bell. And if you believe that, then now you got the guy that can mentor Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who also has the same skill set. And he works with them, and they work together, and they feed off each other. Not to mention, he's going to now take the load off of Clyde Edwards-Helaire instead of having to really be the main one on running the ball all the time, and the running back in bell cow, like they say. Now it's really spread out. Now you can literally line up Clyde and get his catches in and get his yards in and his downs. And now all of a sudden you want to give him a rest, and you plug in Le'Veon and you don't miss a beat. It's like having two starters out there, because if you watch the last 4 games, we were losing a little bit. When Darwin Thompson, and I love Darwin, and Darrell Williams, when they were out there, they're not splash guys. They're good counters. They can get some yards here or there, but they're not, they're not scaring anybody. They're not breaking the knee, they're not breaking the bank. They're not, gonna crush the defense. So when you see them out there, you kind of know the defense is kind of, all right, we don't really have to worry about them too much. We can zero back in on Kelsey and Hill and Hardman and Watkins, and we kind of, the line will handle those guys. They're not going to break any fucking tackles. They're not breaking ankles, right? All of a sudden now, you got Le'Veon Bell where they're like, fuck. We just got torched twice by Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and now he's down. He's sitting on the bench. Now he's resting for this next down, and here comes fucking Le'Veon. God damn it, he might get the ball now, and the defense is tired. and they don't know, like, again, are they going to put a safety on him to track him? Or now they lose track of Travis Kelce, or they lose track of Tyreek Hill, right? That was the luxury that defenses had before we had Bell. It was when you saw Clyde sitting down, they at least could take a breather where they weren't devoting a safety or even an extra linebacker to spy on that backfield. They're like, all right, it's the backup guys. We can kind of take it easy. Now we can just zero in on the wide receivers. And even then, and that's not, we could have went the whole fucking season without Le'Veon and still win, still be Super Bowl favorites. What this does is put even more pressure on defenses like, holy fuck. Because make no mistake, Le'Veon Bell is a starting running back. So now we have two starting running backs at any given moment, right? And what I love about it is the fact that he can mentor Clyde Edwards-Helaire to give him that veteran NFL professionalism. Like, look, this is what I've done throughout the year. This is how you can manage this. This is how you manage that. Now, as far as the diva-ness and all the offense, we'll talk a little bit about that. Because I know that's what a lot of people's concern is. Oh, he's a headache and he sat out and all this bullshit. Yeah, he did, and we'll get into that. But he could be a mentor athletically as a player to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And that's just fucking phenomenal. That's just awesome. Take some of the wear and tear off of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and share the load. That's awesome. Just more pieces. So I love it. I love it. Again, it's the Patrick Mahomes effect. It's adding more fucking weapons. Another pass catcher for Mahomes. Lightens the load a bit for Clyde so we don't put as much wear and tear on him, so he's fresh and healthy for the postseason, which is where we're going to need him the most. Now, here's another narrative that I heard about Le'Veon Bell that I'm going to shoot down right the fuck now. Everybody talking about, oh, well, he hasn't been great since 2017. He sat out a year, and then he signed with the Jets, and in 2 seasons with the Jets, he's not the old Le'Veon. Yeah, that's true. But let's fucking get real, okay? First of all, when he left the Steelers, he was a badass. Things didn't work out there. It was a toxic situation. He wanted, the way they were using him, like a wide receiver, as much and they didn't want to fucking pay him. And that's on them. That's like, it's his right to feel unappreciated when you're using him that goddamn much, and you don't want to pay him. And where have the Steelers been since, right? Like, now they're finally starting to kind of win now, but they weren't doing shit the last 2 years. So, obviously with that Antonio Brown and all that. So he sits out for a year, goes to the Jets, but he goes to the fucking Jets. Come on, bro. The Jets fucking suck. No good running back is going to fucking make that team better. Are you kidding me? Ezekiel Elliott wouldn't make that team better. Kareem Hunt couldn't make that team better. Christian McCaffrey couldn't make that team better. So, the fact that he didn't do much in the Jets, the fucking Jets suck. So, I'm not fucking surprised. You can't hold that against Le'Veon. That fucking team is horrible. Now, let's just play devil's advocate and say, yeah, he's 5 years older or whatever, or I guess 3 years old from 2017. Well, he's 3 years removed from one of his better seasons in 2017. Okay, I'll play devil's. Let's say he is. Let's say he's lost a step. He's 30, 33. No, he's 20. He's 28, I think, right? Not even 30 yet, right? 28, something like that. Let's say he's lost a step, but he's not the dynamic that he used to be. But again, I'll counter you with this. Do you believe that Le'Veon Bell is a better running back than LeSean McCoy at any given point in his career? The answer to that is yes. And I love LeSean McCoy. He was phenomenal for us. Great team, great teammate, player for the Chiefs, great locker room guy, contributed a bunch. It sucked. I felt bad for him that he didn't play in the Super Bowl. I don't know what was the deal with that. Maybe he wasn't healthy. Who knows? Or maybe the fumbles. Maybe they couldn't trust him with the fumbles, but whatever. But still, he won a Super Bowl. He got a Super Bowl. He had a hell of a run with us. But he was never Le'Veon Bell, right? Has a great career. But no one ever confused LeSean McCoy for being a Le'Veon Bell type running back. So if it's safe to say that Le'Veon Bell overall is a better running back than LeSean McCoy, look what the fuck we did with LeSean McCoy. right? An above average, not necessarily elite, but an above average, better than most type running backs. We made him look like a superstar. We got him a Super Bowl. Now we get another elite running back who's maybe lost a step a bit, according to certain people, right? Which I don't believe he has. I just think he was in fucked up situations. But he's young enough to still be a badass, right? Who was a leading rusher in the NFL, who's a legitimate starter, comes to us, who was better than LeSean McCoy. So what do you think we're going to do with that combination now with Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Come on, son. Come on. Like, get your head out of your ass. So I'm all for it. I think it's going to be great. I can't wait till the Broncos game, because that's when we're going to see Le'Veon Bell suit up and play his first game with the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, the narrative that Clyde's losing a step, or not losing a step, but his numbers are down. It's such a crock of shit. It's such a crock of shit. Do you realize that he's put out, both in passing and catching, over 500 yards in the last 4 games? That means he's averaging 100 yards a game in yards in production for a running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's a hell of a fucking number. Now, touchdowns, red zone, yeah, he only has like 1 or 2 touchdowns. Okay, yeah, that needs to improve. But again, it's not like we're not scoring touchdowns. How many fucking weapons do we have? So the narrative, oh, they have 0 touchdowns to running backs. So fucking what? Because we have Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Sammy Watkins, and McCole Hardman, and DeMarcus Robinson. Oh, and Patrick Mahomes running in his own touchdowns. So come on, son, get the fuck out of here. It's only been 4 games, okay? It'd be different if we're 8 games in, 10 games in, and Clyde has no touchdowns other than week 1. All right, then you'd have something to fucking say. But let's get real here, okay? We spread the ball around, and that's just what it is. So I love this. It's the dynamic duo. Great compliment. Just like last year. I think it's very much like last year where we had Damian Williams and LeSean McCoy as the really number 1, number 2 combo. I think this is a hell of an upgrade. It's that same dynamic duo, like a few levels higher. Because I do think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is an elite rookie running back. I think he was right there with Darrell, and then you got, flip it however you want. If you want to consider Darrell Williams and Le'Veon Bell, they were, in the same position, the veteran players, and then you had the guys behind them. The second running back was LeSean McCoy, and then, now Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, however you want to fucking flip that, doesn't matter. The group, the duo from last year to this year is better. It's a couple of levels better. I think Clyde is obviously he's better. He's younger, more explosive, more dynamic than LeSean McCoy. And Le'Veon Bell obviously has always been better comparably to Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams has never, until recently, really took the NFL by storm. It's only because of our team and our Super Bowl win, people know who he is. And he's still a badass. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Darrell. Or Damian, I'm sorry, I love Damian. It's just, again, you got to, over the last 8 seasons since Le'Veon's been in the season, like, he was the guy. He's the one everybody talked about, right? With the Steelers. So I think it's gonna be great. It's did we need him? No. Are we gonna use the fuck out of him? Yeah, absolutely. Is it gonna be crazy? Absolutely. Are we gonna start crushing teams? 110%. And it begins this Monday again with Buffalo. We're not gonna see Le'Veon on the field, but it don't matter. We're gonna handle our business. We're gonna smack the shit out of the Bills. Remind the NFL that bullshit little loss to the Faders ain't anything. We gave it to them. We let them have one. Here you go. Merry Christmas. But you still suck. You guys still ain't winning the division. You all probably still ain't going to the playoffs. So it don't matter. And November 22nd, we're going to whoop that ass and remind you that we are your daddies. Real quick about the Browns. We'll talk a little, let's talk a little NFL news across the NFL before I wrap up here. Hang on. I just wanted to make sure we were still on there. I don't know if you guys can see me. If not, fucking, at least you can hear what I'm saying. Treat it like an actual audio podcast. So, talking about the Browns, right? Like, and I said this a while back. I might have said it in one of the videos. I'm laughing. They're 4-1 for the first time in forever. And how are they doing that? They finally fucking realized that they need to have a running game and put that first, and don't allow Baker Mayfield to throw 50 fucking attempts a game because he's not Patrick Mahomes or any, Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, right? But the really funny thing about that is I'm sorry, I was looking for my team. They had Nick Chubb, right? They signed. What can I do about to hear this? They signed Kareem Hunt a couple seasons ago, right? But their number one guy was Nick Chubb. They ran with that, and I kept fucking saying, these idiots. Yeah, Nick Chubb is talked about and all that. Has he ever been the leading rusher in the NFL? No. You know who has a rushing title? Kareem Hunt. Why the hell would you start Nick Chubb over Kareem Hunt? That fucking team is so dysfunctional. They couldn't stop a nosebleed. I mean, they're so fucking stupid. So Chubb goes down. Kareem Hunt takes the number one spot because of injury. And all of a sudden, they're doing better than they've ever been doing. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Because he's fucking better. Like, you morons. Like, you really... And the fact that John Dorsey's there and didn't... I mean, granted, I guess he's the GM, so he's not trying to, step on the coach's toes. But, if I'm there and I'm the GM, I'm like, look, man, I know you like Chubb, but the fact of the matter is, I drafted Kareem Hunt with the Chiefs for a reason. He's a better fucking running back. He's going to get us wins. You need to start Kareem Hunt and make Chubb the fucking backup and compliment Kareem Hunt. Because it worked in Kansas City. And he won the rushing title when he was as the premier running back. All of a sudden, you're starting to see that. So I just laughed that it took, 2 seasons for them to fucking get their head out their ass? But, it's the Browns, so what do you expect? But good for Kareem Hunt. I'm happy for him. I've always liked him. I hated that we lost him. Maybe it's for the better, because, now we got the Clydesdale, so who knows. But big props and congratulations to one of my favorite players. Always have a place in the Chiefs' kingdom. He'll always be a hero for us. And Alex Smith, congratulations, man. What a story. It was nice that the stadium game was standing ovation when he went on the field. I don't know if they won that game. I don't think they did because they were down by 1 million points. But another team that has their fucking head up their ass, if they wanted to win, that they would let Alex Smith play. That guy wins, okay? All he does is win. Now, you can criticize him all you want. He can't get you over the hump, playoff season, whatever. But the fact of the matter is you're the Washington fucking Redskins, or formerly Washington Redskins, the Washington football team, whatever. And you guys suck ass. You haven't won anything. You got a quarterback in your room that had a winning record, the winningest record, behind only Russell Wilson and Tom Brady when he was with the Chiefs. And your dumb ass to start everybody else but him? Y'all some dumb motherfuckers, right? If the man's healthy, he's been cleared by doctors, and he's saying he's healthy and confident, then you put his ass in, and you watch your wins fucking start to fucking stack up, and then maybe you have some room to negotiate for better fucking players. But you don't, because you're all stupid. Like you're all some dumb shits. So, but congratulations to Alex Smith. What a job for him. Hope he has a phenomenal season and gets out of that fucking train wreck of a fucking team, because they're horrible. What else happened? Speaking of horrible and injuries and a la Alex Smith, I'm using that term a lot in this episode. Dak Prescott. God damn. Did you guys see that? That sucks, man. I like Dak. He's another quarterback that I like to root for. He's just a good guy. He's like Patrick Mahomes. He's real likable. He's real humble. does it all the right way. And I've always rooted for, even though he's a Cowboy, and I don't really like the Cowboy fan base because they're a lot like the Patriots, not as obnoxious, but some of them are they're kind of there. But I've always liked Dak Prescott. Always liked him. Don't like Jerry Jones, but I've always liked Dak Prescott. I've always rooted for him. And just horrible to see him go down. That was a nasty, nasty injury. He's fucking broke. Like, you knew, man. I was like, oh. So that's fucked up for him, especially the situation he's in with the contract, being franchise tagged and all that. And then, who knows if he's going to be a Cowboy next year. Supposedly Jerry Jones says, oh, he's our guy. And blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. We know you're a two-faced bastard, Jerry Jones. You say one thing one week, you do another the next. So, I wouldn't doubt that they cut or let him test free agency next season. And he's in a new uniform next season. And I hope he does. I hope he does go to another team and gets paid. You're looking at teams like Washington that'll be dumb enough to shell out a lot of money. They'll pay a lot of money, but he would upgrade that team. I'm saying they're dumb because, again, they got a fucking franchise quarterback in their locker room and they're just not utilizing him. Who knows what's going to happen with the Jets? Sam Darnold is their guy, but, for how much longer if they don't win? What's the other team? The Dolphins? They got Ryan Fitzpatrick, but, again, he's getting up there and they need a new guy. It'll be interesting to see what goes on there. The Carolina Panthers, I don't know what their quarterback situation is. I'm not going to be surprised if Dak is not a Cowboy next season. But horrible for him, man. That was a fucked up injury, and he's a good guy. So we'll see what happens with him. What else? I think that was all the big NFL news, right? I don't know if I missed it. Oh, the Michael Thomas thing I think is funny. I guess he got to a fight with one of the corners in his team, and they punched him, and so that's fucking funny. But that's all the big news, right? I believe that's all the news that we got to cover. So on to Monday Night Football again. It was a third time for us. Buffalo Bills coming to town. It's going to be a tough game. However, they came off a loss too. They're not as unbeatable as people thought. They just got beat by the Tennessee Titans, who are a tough team, playoff team. So it'll be a good game. Both teams, us and them, coming off losses. But everybody knows Mahomes hates to lose. He's going to come in pissed off. He's going to want to show the world basically that fucking Raider win was bullshit. So what better way to do that than destroying the Bills? Then we got the Jets. We got the Bills, then the Broncos, and then the Jets. So we can handle business on the Bills. Then we got some two quote-unquote easier games. That's not to say we're supposed to take our foot off the gas, but we should beat those fucking teams easily. We just got to handle business with the Bills first. So that's all I got, guys. I might get an episode out of the weekend and be at HQ. We'll see what happens. Hopefully maybe I'll get something out for you on Sunday. I thought this was going to be a turn short. Turns out it's not. Turns out it's somewhat of a full episode. So this will go on the main page. Most Foul Chief. Again, like, subscribe, comment below, hit that bell notification, share with your fucking friends if they're Chiefs fans. Let's do this. All right, guys. See you next week or maybe Sunday. Go Chiefs. Let's fucking kick some Bill ass. Let's do this. Run it back to her. I'm out. Peace.